And we are live. What up, players? Welcome to
What
another
up, guys?
episode of Player Life. It is Tuesday, March 15th, here in Tokyo, Japan. And today we have a special guest, Commander Robert from Command Your Confidence.
What up, guys?
And yeah, today we're just going to chop it up about, how being needy repulses women. We can chop it up about different things, but that's just one of the topics that we chose to talk about. But anyway, before we get into that, what's up, Robert? How you been, man? It's been a while.
Good, man. Well, I published my book back in, I don't know if I told you, but in January, I published my book. So I did that. I'm just continuing to do content for the channel. I decided like I'm still going to be posting content. I'm just for a while cutting back on content for my channel only because I'm got to focus on my website business. It's been picking up, and I've been just wanting to figure out ways to get new leads with that. But still going to keep it up with creating content for my channel, Command Your Confidence. So just taking a different direction with things for a bit because like all last year I focused all on the Command Your Confidence brand and neglected my web design business. So I want to kind of focus on that, but still keep up with the Command Your Confidence channel. And other than that, just like kicking ass in life.
Cool, man. Yeah, man. It sounds like you're pretty busy. You're doing a lot. You're making your brand, and you have your website business. It's pretty cool, man. Um,
That's a lot of work, but I'm
yeah. So,
alive. That's all that matters.
how do you usually structure your week or your days or whatnot?
That's a good one. Well, I still do a 9 to 5, while I'm doing this. So I got that definitely comes first, and then I pretty much, take time to, relax for about an hour, hour and a half. Then I, just put in a couple hours each day, just kind of, figuring out if working on a project for someone or just kind of working on some stuff for leads. Like right now, I'm gonna be doing some cold calling stuff, but I found out today that I gotta like make sure like the numbers are that I have are not on the do not call list because I can get in trouble for that. So I was because I never done cold calling, so I'm taking a different approach for my bit. Now I do cold emailing, so I'm gonna try that. But I just was kind of researching that stuff to make sure like if there are any like things that I can get in trouble
Mm.
for. And so yeah, did my research, and sure enough, I gotta have someone look at it. Got about 300 phone numbers. Got to look at all these numbers and just to see if make
All
sure they're
right.
not on the do not call list, and then I got to sort that out. But no, it's fun, man. It's just like I'm always um I'm taking, I'm still doing like my interviews like on the weekends and stuff for my channel. Like I still got to put out like I still got a lot of recorded content that I have to edit too from the stuff I did that I haven't posted yet. So I kind of set that do that on the weekends and stuff now, and yeah, it's fun. I just kind of live my life. I have to fit it in with everything else because I got a social life outside of this.
Yeah. Do you always take the weekends off?
No, I work on the
Yeah.
weekends too.
Work every
Yeah, I
day.
don't overdo it though.
Okay. Um. Yeah. What are things like? Is everything? I don't know. I hate even talking about it still, but like all the beer bug shit, is that all finished? Is that done with? Is
Yeah,
that
well,
over yet?
it seems like it's dying down here, which is
Dying down, or
cool.
is it
Yeah,
finished?
yeah. The hype's
Okay.
dying down in the media and stuff. Like I mean, already they're gonna not soon. Like they're not gonna. You won't have to wear a mask at the airports. So yeah, it's kind of dying down. I mean, they still talk about it, but it's not as as extreme as it was about a year ago, which
Mm.
is weird. It's like
So is
you're entering a new reality after being in that reality for 2 years.
mm. So what about nightlife and stuff? Is that all up and is
Oh
that
yeah,
all
it's been up
going?
and running since last May.
All right. So
Yeah,
like
no, it's
okay.
good, man. It's I have I've been going out doing stuff. But yeah, it's just things are slowly getting back to normal here, which is
All right.
odd after being in that situation for a while.
I think you do a good bit of nightlife, right? You
Yeah, I
like
do nightlife. Yeah, I love the nightlife.
all right. So what are your preferred spots, bars or what? How do you do it? What's
Um,
your ideal night out?
well, I bars, clubs are my forte. Like I mostly like, right now, like I told you I host meetup events and everything. So we do a mix of bars and we do clubs and stuff. So last Saturday, I mean Friday, I was out at the club. This week I'm going to be out at a karaoke place. So you switch it up every once in a while, and each
Okay.
has like its advantages and disadvantages.
Mm. Okay. So like, what's an advantage and a disadvantage of a place?
Oh, okay. Well, so I mean, when you're at a nightclub and everything, like it can be very difficult to socialize with people, especially if you're going out there to meet women, because it just gets super loud. And plus, if you don't have like, you can't like blend into like the energy there, because like there's a different energy there. It's like hyper. Everyone's just having fun, dancing, everything. You can't blend into that. Like it's going to be difficult for like
Mm.
someone to meet a girl there at a nightclub. Whereas a bar, it's more chill. But the advantage is lots of girls at nightclubs. So lots of girls
Mm.
at nightclubs.
You got to be pretty aggressive in a nightclub. You
Mm-hmm.
can't be just like rolling around like hoping that some chick is. Well, chicks are never gonna come to you. Well, never say never unless you're if you're a super Chad, like it's probably they might. I don't think chicks like directly go like if there's a super like good looking guy, he'll just get way more IOIs rather than girls will just be very obvious with IOIs rather than coming to them.
Mm-hmm.
Um, yeah, it's just but yeah, nightclubs are, no nice guys finish last, certainly finish last in nightclubs. I'll say that much. There are no
Yeah,
place for a
especially
nice guy.
people who are, especially guys who, don't. I think like realize like you just gotta be in any social situation. You gotta learn to be authentic and kind of just kind of adapt to the situation. Like, I think most nights, most people, guys I see at nightclubs, like they lack the social skills when it comes to talking to women. And yeah, even when they go to a bar, and that kind of deters them. And I'm not saying it's the social skills. I mean, you can have good game and stuff, but like the girl might not be interested, so that happens. But I think a lot, like one of the things I had, back in when I was in my 20s, one of the I was like always like I didn't have the confidence to go out there and talk to women. I just was like I just when I see them be like, oh, I want to go talk to that person, but then I never do it. Or if
Right.
I did it, it was like half-ass and very inauthentic.
Mm. Yeah, yeah, I remember. Yeah, it's funny. It's like I was thinking to myself yesterday. It was like I saw this hot girl, and it was like I was I didn't approach her because it was like for a different reason. It was because I just wasn't I wasn't bothered, and it was very different to like for to the reasons I wouldn't have approached when I was like 21, like completely different reasons. Like yesterday was just, oh shit, she's hot as fuck, but I had my groceries, I had some shopping in my hands. I was like, yeah, I'm just like, I'd already gotten laid that day, and I was like, it was just like completely different reasons that I didn't approach. It was more like, yeah, I'm just not bothered to do it. But you know what
Hmm.
I mean? It's just like back in the day when I was a lot younger, it would have been like, oh shit, I really want to approach her, but I don't have the confidence to do it.
Hmm.
Then when you become more mature, when you've got a lot of experience and you've been with a lot of women, it's like just completely different. You know, it's like you choose whether it's all about you, right? It's like, do you want to approach or not? You know,
Hmm.
it's like you have the choice, like complete like choice. It's not like I was worried to approach. There was zero like when I approach girls, like there's zero worry. Like there's no. It's just like, am I in the mood? Am I like interested, kind of thing?
Hmm. Yeah,
Yeah,
sometimes it could just be lack of motivation. You're like, and then you take a break.
yeah.
You
I mean,
know,
it. You
had my
know,
moments where I haven't talked to anyone. I didn't do any approaching a couple of days, or I go sometime a week or two. But you always get back into it.
Hmm. I mean, that's another reason why. I mean, that's a reason. Of course, another reason why guys shouldn't, jerk off. Like, that's kind of a different. Well, it's similar topic, but like I said, I just got laid that more. I'd been getting laid. Like, I've been doing pretty well recently, so you know, I mean, the my sex drive wasn't necessarily really high at that point because I'd like had so much sex the night before and in the morning. So like, it's kind of like I'm kind of satisfied. But yeah, if I hadn't gotten laid in say in a week, I'm sure I would have approached wanted. I'm sure I would have been more motivated to approach that girl.
Hmm.
You know what I mean? It's about motivation, right? Are you motivated? Like, how motivated are you? And ideally, you want to be as motivated as possible. You want to be, without it getting in the way of your life, and
Hmm.
letting it distract you from what you need to do. But that's why you need to learn games so that you have women around so that you can satisfy your sex drive and stuff like, and not be constantly trying to figure out how to get laid, right?
Hmm. Yeah, you got to have you got to be able to develop. I think the important keys are just having the confidence to believe in yourself. Good. I think social skills, communication skills is very important, and just have developing the discipline to create that for yourself, and that kind of will get you there.
Mm. So what do you do? Like, I mean, if you run into a dry spell, what do you do? Like, what is your how do you how do you what how do you sort out a dry spell for yourself?
As far as what, like if I'm not getting any action.
Yeah, I mean, if you haven't gotten laid in a while, like, or yeah, how do you what do you do you regroup, or what do you do? You just keep doing the same things, or do you get frustrated? Because we have all had dry spells. Like, I mean, even really good, people that are guys that are really
Oh
good at
yeah, well,
players.
frustrate. Yeah, I mean, there. I've been in a lot of situations where where I meet a lot of people and stuff. Some girls I'll have sex with, other girls I won't. But there'd be times where I just go for a dry spell too, where I just don't meet. I just can't get anything. No number. Yeah, it gets frustrating, and that you're right. That I think that's one of the things I've really noticed too. Like you have your moments, you have a lot of your ups and downs, and those can be short or they can be long. Um, I what I do is I still go out there and take the action. And kind of use the time too, just to kind of focus on stuff I'm working on. I don't give up like trying to talk to new women. I'll just focus on what I got going on at the moment too, and do a little bit of that, and eventually just mustered itself out. Because I don't know, I just think when I kind of just focus on the stuff I'm working on, I just don't think of the women, the ladies too much, and therefore, like, I don't need that. You know what I'm saying? And then, so
Mm,
this becomes more. It's like when I have that conversation as I'm going forward. As long as if I keep falling, I just kind of reflect upon that shit. Okay, just try something different. I mean, it's a learning process. Learning to
mm,
become, good with women. It's there. Even when you think you have successfully mastered everything, there's still more that you don't know. And I kind of like look into that and try to make improvements on that while I'm doing it. And I'm just glad I got stuff going on. I don't think if chasing women was the only thing that I had going on in my life, I think I would come off like a creeper, needy, but that it's good that to have other things going on and other other focus in your life as well besides women,
mm,
because that just helps you deal with the frustration, because it helps you build your confidence too. And when you're just kind of just putting your you don't want to put all your eggs in one basket, you just want to spread them out a little bit. I think that just kind of helps you deal with the frustration at the same time. But then, like, and plus, when you're having successes in those other areas, that you're working on in your life, and then just really kind of getting to know who you are. I think that's you really just kind of that will show when you're interacting with the woman and stuff. See, a
Mm.
guy who who's needy is a guy whose only focus is women. It's on women and nothing else. And when he makes, yeah, it's good. I'm not saying it's a bad thing, but if you focus like 95% of your like thoughts on getting with women and getting laid, that could like really throw you off your path. You know what I'm
Well,
saying? And you get kind of needy because you're just constantly thinking about it.
yeah, well, if that's the case, the thing is, like, if that's the case, then you'll have nothing else to talk about, and like, I mean, I think a lot of reasons guys maybe suffer from like confidence issues is because maybe they don't have enough going on in their life. Like,
Mm-hmm.
they go and they try and meet women, and they lack self-confidence, and a lot of that's because they don't actually have any interesting hobbies. Or it's not always the case, but it could be a component of it. They don't have actually
Mm-hmm.
anything interesting going on in their life. They don't have
Mm-hmm.
much, like, so they don't have guys that have like really interesting shit going on in their lives tend to be pretty confident.
Right, exactly.
Like,
Well,
it's just
and that
like,
shows like when you interact with women and stuff. I mean, because when you're not when you don't have that 100% focus on them and you're building yourself and building your life, you're gonna show that in your behaviors.
yeah. So it's like, I heard somewhere that, well, it's obvious. I know it as well, but a woman will out of two between two men, a woman will pick the man that doesn't need her.
Mm-hmm.
Get me? Like, she's gonna pick the guy that doesn't need her. It's like the rich get richer, the poor get poorer, right?
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean?
Right.
So, women don't want to. Women want to, they want to find a guy that is already about his shit. You know, they don't
Mm-hmm.
want to get with a guy that's like relying on her. That's
Right.
relying on her to set shit up, relying on her to do everything. They want to get with a guy that's about his shit, that doesn't need her, that can take her or leave her. You
Mm-hmm.
know. Mm.
Right. That's right. Because like when you have that mindset and everything, that's like again, it's just gonna show in your behaviors and stuff like that. Like, I mean, if you're a type of guy, if you got stuff going on and know you can, achieve, then you don't have to. I mean, you're not going to become dependent upon that person.
Mm. Yeah, it's like, I've seen it time and time again where, it's just girls will shit talk their boyfriends or shit talk guys that they're with that, you know, like, are too needy or too nice or just too soft. I'm at I don't even know if I should say it, but I was out, maybe it was 2 weekends ago, and I met this, there was kind of a party going on. It's not my friends, but a friend, let's just say friends of friends, right? And
Mm-hmm.
it's basically this couple that were, apparently just got married, and they were just having this party. It wasn't a wedding ceremony, but it was some kind of, I don't know. They signed some documents and got married officially. So they were just having a party, and they didn't have a ceremony or anything. But anyway, um, long story short, I was, I met the guy. I met the guy that was, that got married, and he was just
Mm-hmm.
like this very innocent, soft looking guy, just very, you know, looked really just innocent, I would say. Soft, looked weak, kind of like clearly didn't work out. It's kind of skinny, fat, liked to play video games.
Mm-hmm.
And then, just, we're at a group table. So, somehow got talking to his wife, I guess.
Mm-hmm.
And, man, I just couldn't believe, like, the stuff she told me was so inappropriate, man.
Oh, really?
Just like unbelievable, like just so red pilling though. Just the stuff she said. I guess she was pretty drunk or not. She was tipsy at least. No, she wasn't
Mm-hmm.
like terribly drunk, but you know, Uh, the drink is also truth serum, so it can like
Yeah, right. That can be the.
So yeah, she was just like, oh, she told me like I couldn't believe she was telling me this. Like her boyfriend was sitting, not her husband was sitting like a few seats down, but she was
Hmm.
telling me, oh, I didn't really want to get married, and I love partying and I love having fun, and I said to her, I was like, you're not happy with your husband. Like I was trying to probe into the situation. She was like, oh yeah, but he's so nice. And she literally said, I like more. She said to me, like, I couldn't believe it. She was like, I like more masculine guys.
Hmm.
I like, man, this girl was, I could tell she was such a naughty woman. Like, I guarantee, I know for a fact this woman is going to cheat on her husband. There's no doubt in my mind. There's no doubt in my mind. She's going to cheat. She is
Hmm.
definitely. Just I could see it in her eyes. I knew, like, she just reminded me of a woman that just is kind of like, she's like, okay, she's just getting married just because it's the thing that she's supposed to do, and she kind of is just settling with a beta guy. Man, it's just everything in the red pill is like was so true, and
Hmm.
just remind me that she was around 30. She's settling for the beta guy. She's not the guy that she wants really, but he's just the guy that's gonna he's the kind of guy that's going to be loyal to her and stuff. And she's I would bet that she's going to definitely cheat on that guy. I would
Oh
just
wow.
can see it, but I it just I just got needy vibes off that guy. He looked needy. He looked like he never took the lead. Soft. But just thought that story might have been a bit relevant to today's discussion.
Hmm.
But yeah, man, neediness definitely isn't an attractive trait. Women definitely don't like it in men.
Yeah. One thing I just remember looking back into my days. I always like when I was in a relationship. You know, this is probably not so much my last one, which was like 4 years ago, but previous ones. It's like I had to I always like had to have talk to that girl like every day. You know what I'm saying? Like and that if she didn't call, I'd be like, "Was something up?" And I was always like, so if I could, I could hang out with her as much as I could. And I don't know. I realized like I think that because you kind of like a drug. You get addicted to all that shit when you're needy and stuff. If you don't have it, you get even more needier. Then that turns the girl off.
Yeah, man. I mean, yeah, you definitely, yeah. Once if you start calling them every day and all that shit, I mean it. Yeah, it can definitely work in different ways, though. I mean, did you see the Tinder swindler?
No, I wanted to see that.
You never
Ha-
saw it.
No, is it good?
I mean, you should definitely watch it. I mean, there's a lot of red pills in it, man. I mean, it's quite relevant. I mean, it's quite relevant to what we do. Like, just it's. I would highly recommend watching. I mean, obviously Netflix is garbage for the most part, but sometimes they put out something that can. There's
Hmm.
lessons in it, you know. Especially since we talk
Right.
about dating and stuff like that, and red pill and all this stuff. So that's for those reasons I would watch it. Yeah. Um, but I mean, the reason I brought it up is because I mean, you know, yeah, I mean, with certain guys, like I mean, if the girl really likes you, you know, um, you can, you can. In the Tinder swindler, like the guy he's very manipulative, and he kind of showers these girls with a lot of attention, a lot of affection, but it's like
Hmm.
he's only able to get away with it because they see him as a high value guy. If you're a low value guy, if you're not that high value guy, if you and you start showering girls like with a lot of attention, it's like repulsive. I would
Hmm.
say it's more repulsive. Um but yeah, there's a fine line. there's a fine line between that being, being needy and showering girls with this kind of affection that can be also be manipulative. Uh, yeah, but it's I think the word for it is called like love bombing. It's when you
Oh,
like
okay.
you like you show a lot of affection to a girl to try and like hook her on. But yeah, that can also, that's a dangerous line to walk, because it can also be seen as being very needy, and that's not
Mm-hmm.
where you want to be at all. Um, you don't even, for me,
Well,
my
I
type
think
of game is not like that at all. I just can't stomach doing that because I'm just, I don't want to be, I don't want to I don't want to do things that don't like represent my character or anything like that. So I'm not the kind of guy that's going to be sending like good morning messages and like, oh, how was your day and all this shit. It's just not me, so I'm not going to do it. But
mm-hmm.
yeah.
Interesting. No, but too, a lot of guys, I think another thing too, like a lot of guys, they kind of, I was talking about this on a call when I did a show with a sophisticated man on Saturday, but you were talking about a lot of the guys kind of, follow what's in the media, and you see in the media, the guys who are in those shows are needy, like some of the stuff they do, and I think a lot of guys see that and think, well, that's how it's supposed to be.
Which shows?
Oh, on the media, just like in TV.
Ah, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. Yeah, man. I mean, all the Holly, yeah, it's yeah, neediness and all that garbage. It's like it's really the opposite of what women want. They want to
Mhm.
enter your world. They want to like they want you to have shit set up. Have the dates planned, all that stuff. Um, if you're like hitting up a girl and asking her to hang out, or what should we do today and all this stuff, they're not gonna like it at all.
Mhm.
They're not gonna like any kind of lead role to play. But you know, we're told by the media that we need a we need an equal partnership and all this garbage. What do you think about that?
About equal partnership? I don't know. Like, I'm just like, it. I can see what they're trying to talk about, but it's just hard to see because everyone's different. You know what I'm saying? And so it's all, I don't know. Like I said, I really try not to really get too much into the theory of things because, like, I just kind of like to do, focus on, just the self and stuff. But I just try to, like, take what's in life. I mean, I can see some benefits from it, but I can see things that that are just like, you know what I'm talking about.
Mm. But
How
yeah,
about you?
I mean, I don't think women want anything to do with an equal partnership. I mean, they want a guy that's going to take the lead and show make decisions. I mean, take into account what the woman
Well,
wants
you got to
as
take
well,
you have to
obviously.
take the lead. Like, honestly,
Yeah,
I'm
but
learning. You got to be able to make decisions. You got to be able to take the lead. Um, and one thing you can't risk is, like, sometimes we get comfortable. When we get into these things, as guys, we lead, we make decisions, we show the women the adventure that bring her in as we bring her into our world. But when we get comfortable with that, we kind of slack on that. You know what I'm taking? We just forget about that.
what do you mean
Well, we
comfortable
just
about what?
forget about taking the lead, making the decisions because we
Mm.
just growing complacent. Am I clear now?
Yeah, yeah. Um, yeah, it's just a thing. It's like, I mean, it's all.
Oh, Mac, I can't hear you, buddy.
Shit. Okay, can you? Sorry, it was
Yeah, I
cut.
was like, whoa, I can't hear you. What's going on?
Okay. Yeah, Mike. But yeah, no, it's also a thing where it's crazy because honestly, the more women I have like kind of on rotation, or not even just rotation, but the more options I have, like the more chicks that are messaging me, or the more the more options I have, the more chicks that that I have in my contacts that are like willing to meet me and go on a date with me and all that. It's just
Mm-hmm.
like a kind of a snowball effect. Like
Mm-hmm.
it'll get to a point where it's just like I've just so many options in my life that that women just become drawn to that. They're
Right.
drawn to the fact that they know you're not needy. They know they subconsciously know that you're getting laid, even though you never mentioned it or you never talked about banging other girls, or like they just know, like, and like if you said it to them, they'd be like, "Oh my god, you're fucking other girls!" Like they're gonna be surprised. But like that's part of the reason they're attracted to you, because like a guy that isn't getting laid, is gonna be uh, way more easily frustrated and more,
Right. That's true.
he's way more likely to show he's going to be more likely to show frustrations and neediness,
Mm-hmm.
because for example, like getting laid and has a lot of options, like if a girl flakes on him, he's
Mm-hmm.
probably he might just not like message the girl back. Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
he has so much options that he's just like, fuck it, just doesn't, just forgets to even reply. Like she flakes and then he just doesn't reply. He just finds another girl and just like goes on, you know what I mean?
Yeah,
Like
yeah, I noticed. Yeah, he's just like, okay, I don't need to put up with this. I'm just gonna go on to someone else.
doesn't even reply, like just immediately meets another girl. But a guy that doesn't have options, like messes the girl, how dare you flake on me? Oh my god, you're like, oh my god, like when can you meet me next time? And like then a girl immediately knows that you're a guy that doesn't have options, and it's
Hey,
like
Matt,
it's
welcome to the show. We got Matt in here.
mad in the
Like,
house. Um,
no, but that's right though. And even like one thing too. Again, this goes back to what I was telling you earlier. This is you also want to have other focuses on your life, like other activities going on in your life too, because when you say you don't have that, say you don't have any options at the moment, the fact that you got other shit going on in your life, as far as like working, if you're working on towards something else in your life, I mean, you can always think to yourself, well, now I'm gonna have more time to, work on this and invest into that. That's how I look at it too.
mm,
Um, 'Cause, there've been times where I don't, haven't had any options on the side, but I said to myself, well, I got other shit I could be focusing on. So you know what I'm saying? Until I meet the next girl.
yeah, man. I mean, a lot of anxiety with men in particular comes from like inaction, because that kind of the rut you can get into if you know you should
Hmm.
be doing something but you're not taking action. It can be a very like a negative spiral of despair. you know
Hmm. Right.
it's like
Exactly.
it's harder on your psychology to not take action. you know
Hmm.
you're kind of stuck, or you can be kind of like stuck in lethargy or procrastination.
Hmm.
you
Right.
know
I know.
and
I
that
feel
can be more mentally exhausting than actually like going out there and actually doing what you have to do.
hmm and sometimes too, like I will just I noticed that you're right, because if I don't take action, like I just kind of like, oh crap, I kind of get down on myself, which is kind of where I have to remind myself that I got to start acting upon this,
Mm,
because I think action brings, when you take action in your life, it helps you bring about it. It just helps you become more confident because you're working towards something, rather than letting fear hold you back, rather than sitting around being lazy and not like doing nothing at all.
mm. Yeah, I mean, it's just yeah, inaction is kind of cancerous, right? it,
Hmm.
it just like leads to nothing. It causes anxiety, definitely, for sure, like inaction.
Right. It does.
Because man, I think without action you start overthinking everything, and you start feeling bad for not taking action, and it's like more mentally exhausting than, like I said, than actually doing the task at hand. Or And another thing can be a lot of the problem is a lot of guys don't actually know what to do. that's that's another thing. Like they might be able to take action, but it's like they don't have any like plan, or they don't have a plan of action.
Mm-hmm.
Probably be
Right,
told
and you
what.
got to have a plan.
Mm. Some people would just rather be told what to do.
Mm-hmm.
Mm.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's true. Well, some people need that, but I think as a guy, that's one of the traits that you have to learn to develop is, being able to take charge and show you know what you got to do.
Mm.
And that not just with women, but when it comes to your work, when it comes to your business, when it comes to working on your health, fitness, when it comes to working on your mindset. You can't have someone tell you. I mean, it's good to have a mentor to help you, give you a kick in the ass when you're like slacking off, but eventually you got to be an independent thinker and be able to act upon your, take it upon yourself to take that action.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. So what do you? How do you snap out of a slump yourself?
Oh, okay, yeah. Well, I mean, I'm glad you asked because I mean, I still get. I'm not gonna lie, I'm human. I still get in my slumps and everything. Mindset thing. I just eventually I just kind of have that realization where I say, hey, Rob, man, you gotta, get off your ass, get up there, and take more action. Or when I realize to myself, well, why is it I'm not moving forward with something? I kind of just take the time to reflect on things, so I can figure out what to do differently and how to act differently next time, uh, and then like go out there and do it. And then, I mean, I just, I just go grind, man. It can, because I mean, working on it, not just with women, but doing business stuff, like, everything, you can reach a point where you get really frustrated sometimes. And you're like, you're not meeting any new women, if you're not getting new leads and stuff, and you just got to figure out. Okay, yes, and you're gonna get frustrated to the point where and I recommend just take a little break for a bit because I mean sometimes it helps to take a break to reflect upon things in your life. But eventually you got to just do the grind because you have to say to yourself, if you really want to grow as an individual, if you really want what it is you really want, you better stop being a pussy and go out there and make it happen for yourself. So that's what
Yeah.
I tell myself that, and so it's just like disciplining yourself to have those how should I say, positive habits, and they're going to help you grow as a person.
Mm. Yeah, it can be helpful just to like, like if you're stuck in a rut to like go out there and do something like completely random or something different. Like you said, like
Hmm.
take a break or something, but just go somewhere you wouldn't usually go, like do something new, try and meet new people, like to try and like inspire your mind, try and, stimulate your mind in some way into action.
Hmm.
Um, Rather than just like sitting home, like watching Netflix or watching YouTube or just like doing consuming, like instead of just consuming, get out there and just like stimulate your mind like in the real world rather than through screens all the time.
Hmm.
Mm.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. And you're gonna, like I said, you're gonna have big setbacks, and yeah, it's gonna hold you down for a bit. But you just gotta. I think it's like you have to develop a mental toughness too, and like I think I mean, with anything you're working on, you just got to be able to like snap out of a bad rut or anything. Just like just like say, like I was just telling you, just say go do it, but you got to be proactive and be persistent.
Mm.
Like I realized too, like even when you go through dry spells, if you apply what I'm telling you guys to do and you just deal with the blows, you just keep on pushing. Like I think the more you push on, you're gonna. It's like you're gonna go out, meet some new girls, and you're gonna overcome that dry spell. But you're gonna learn stuff along the way about yourself that you have to work on because, like, I think a lot of the stuff that holds guys back, and I'm still working on this too. It's just a mindset thing, and not believing 100% in yourself, and that thinking that way for like freaking 15, 20 years of my life, man. And all of a sudden making that shift, though I'm having my successes, I still slump in there and I slump back into my old self. And that's when you got to realize, okay, this mindset's not going to serve you. You got to go out there and do it. Like, like with anything, it's just like things happen, man. Like you can, I believe you can be capable. You can be capable of achieving anything, changing a mindset. I just think it just takes time. Like take, I in over the period of time, you do see changes in your belief system, your attitude towards things, and in the external world as well. Um, and like I said, you have to have to be patient, man. And I think because we're talking about neediness. I mean, you don't have the patience, and you're just kind of rushing. Sure, it's good to go ahead and take action, but I'm saying
Let me just
sometimes,
let's bring it back to why do you think women are repulsed by neediness? Let's bring it back to that.
are repulsed
Why do
by
you think
what?
by neediness? Why do you think women are repulsed by neediness?
Neediness?
Why
Well,
are
because they're repulsed because like guys, you okay, a woman wants a guy who has shit going on in his life because a woman has her thing going on in her own life. Okay, this is just my opinion, but I think if you're a guy who's just constantly needs to have a woman around just to like if to like validate yourself, um that's going to show her that this guy really has nothing to him. And plus, you're going to show, and like the fact that you're going out there, that you're being needy towards this girl, like it's going to creep her the f out because, um, I mean, your behaviors are just going to be weird, and everyone wants their space. And like I've met needy women, women who want my time all the time. But I mean, for what I got going on, I need to have a balance and my stuff. So I just think some girls might like it, but then they'll take advantage of a guy who's needy because he knows he's thirsty and like she can pull strings. That's another thing that's another thing you got to watch out for if you're that needy guy because she sees that in you, she's gonna pull your strings and then you're gonna end up freaking hurt in the long run because you're gonna think that she's interested and wants this and is gonna do this for you, and really she's pulling your strings and leading you on. So they can take advantage of you guys if you don't have that awareness. Um, but yeah, that's my take on it.
Yeah, I think that's right. But I think another reason, I think personally, one of the main reasons women are repulsed by needy men is because it makes them feel insecure. A needy man does not make a woman feel secure because a man that needs a woman, it shows her that he's not fully confident in himself. A man that has no neediness about him, makes a woman feel secure. A man that is confident, a man that does not need her at all, makes that woman feel secure because she feels like, oh, she's with a guy that knows how to, navigate the world.
Well,
She can.
yeah, because he's navigating it. I'm sorry to interrupt. What were you gonna say?
No, I'm just saying she can join his agenda, and feel secure in that because, he doesn't need her. Women don't want to feel like, the responsibility of having to do anything really, and they just want to be there,
Mm-hmm.
um,
Well, and I'm thinking too, like if you're like again, this all goes back to the man being the center of his own universe and everything. When the woman knows that a man is only looking out for him and stuff and not focusing all the attention on her, I mean that shows that he's competent in himself and in life. But if he's just making it all about her, it's gonna come to the point where it's gonna annoy her. So it's like, well, this guy's just making his life about me.
mm,
And like that could be a turn off. And yeah, like the fact that like it can make her insecure because you're just constantly putting the I mean you're making everything about her when really she gotta I mean when you're a confident guy, you make it all about you and stuff. And
mm,
you won't you place all the focus on her and she will see that that's a wonderful trait in you, because you're that. I mean, you're doing. She knows you're capable of doing your own thing without having to be dependent upon her, and that you don't need
Yeah.
her if that's the case.
Yeah, I think as Richard Cooper says, a woman should be a complement to your life.
Mm-hmm.
She should just be a compliment. You shouldn't need her. Should just be a compliment. Um, something that benefits you in certain ways. And there shouldn't be any. A lot of guys get into relationships, and the woman is like a complete negative. Other than getting laid, and this, that, and the other. Like a lot of relationships are like toxic. Like there's not really any benefit to being in a relationship with a woman,
Mm-hmm.
other than getting laid, and that's bad. Like there shouldn't be like all this drama and just like bitchiness and entitlement. A woman should be like helpful, like a compliment to your life, not something that's like draining your energy. You know.
Mm-hmm.
Um, like there's all these ideas that women need drama, and they need like all this they need all this drama to stay engaged in the relationship. And it's like that may be true, but it's like I'm like fuck that. Like I'm not I don't care enough to do that. Like I'm not gonna do that. Like I'm not gonna like create this false drama just to have some chick in my life. That's
Mm-hmm.
needy. For me, that's being needy. Going out there and creating this artificial drama just to satisfy some girls, like to keep her attention in the relationship. That's like fuck that. It's like no,
Mm-hmm.
just rather spin plates and like have like a variety of chicks in my life. Like you
Right.
know,
No, I hear you.
you
Yeah, but
know,
that, I mean, when you're not needy, like a guy is gonna have that mindset. Like when he's, I think, I just like we have to learn to develop like an independent. We have to just learn to become more independent and not rely on others. I mean, that's the hardest thing. Is I think just a lot of guys these days are just like are dependent upon other people for their happiness and validation and they forget about themselves and everything.
mm, yeah. I mean, well, how do you mean they forget about themselves? Like
Well, I
they're
mean, well, they forget. I meant they forget like that they should make their life about them and not other people. Tend they since they look to others for approval and everything, they should be looking to themselves for approval and stuff, and
mm,
looking from within instead of looking from the external world.
yeah, I mean, well, yeah, definitely like social media and like, definitely can make people feel like maybe insecure about themselves and shit.
Mm-hmm.
And, maybe they think they need some material goods just because other people have it and shit like that.
Mm-hmm.
Um, I think that affects, I think that almost affects like women more than men, actually. It
Oh,
definitely is.
really?
I think because women, use men and women both use social media a lot, but I think women use it more than men.
Okay.
I think I'm not sure to what extent, but I'm pretty sure women are more engaged in social media than men. Would you agree?
Okay. Yeah, I would think so. Yeah. I mean, I'm on it quite a bit now because I'm doing YouTube, but but
Yeah, I mean
I,
that's
but I don't know that. I mean, I'm just saying this based from what I've heard on other channels. I mean, I can't say for certain, but like I heard that yeah, that's a thing. Like women tend to like be on the social media. I think not just women, but guys too. I think a lot of us are kind of gotten sucked into the social media trap.
sucked
Um,
into the matrix, man.
yeah, right.
Mm.
Like
But
everything's like online now.
regardless, we're all affected by what others have, and that might not
Mhm.
necessarily be what you want deep down. You know, um, like a certain lifestyle, or just having kind of this, that, and the other, where might not necessarily want all that shit.
Right,
You're
exactly.
um, it's kind of like seeking validation through like expensive objects, or stuff that you don't really want, but you just want to, you kind of just, you see it on social media, or your friend has it, or this, that, and the other, and you're trying to get it to make you feel validated. I think deep
Right.
down humans just want to feel validated, and that's why social media is so addictive, because people just want to feel like accepted by the herd.
Right.
We're
No,
all
that's
we're herd
true.
creatures, really, to be honest. I mean, as much as we, I like to see myself as not as a herd creature, but I have to accept the fact that I am human. So we
Mm-hmm.
all we're all have these like desires to be accepted somewhat. Like,
Mm-hmm.
let's
Yeah,
just be
exactly.
100% truthful about the fact. But I think like even a lot of people are much more have a much stronger desire to be accepted than to by the herd than I think I would. I like to
Mm-hmm.
see myself as kind of a black sheep. Like I like to see myself going my own way to a certain extent. Um, but a lot of people just want to be accepted. A lot of people just want to be part of a tribe. They just want to, be, they just want to be, basically it's kind of sad, but they just want to be like kind of popular. It's kind of
Mm-hmm.
lame
Right.
shit.
That's true.
Like, you know, a lot of people don't use their, critical thinking. They just, that's why there's so many normies in the world. The normies are just like following the mainstream narrative.
Mm-hmm. Right.
Mm.
Yeah, well, see, and that's where people lose their authenticity in themselves because they
Mm.
follow the mainstream narrative. They believe
Mm.
that's how it should be. But then I think you lose that authenticity at the same time when you do that.
Yeah, man. I mean, yeah, and that's another thing. Like, I mean, being authentic, obviously, when I go on a date, when I hang out with these chicks, like, and when I meet them, I'm just like authentic. I've developed just this character over, this developed, this style of dating chicks where I'm genuinely authentic. Like, you know, um,
Hmm.
I am myself, and they either like it or they don't. You know, some
Right.
some take it,
Yeah, I
some
get
don't.
that too, so I know what you're talking about.
Mm. But yeah, it's about developing, like, guys that suck with women. It's about developing an authentic character that is attractive to women.
Hmm.
Like, you're obviously like, it feels authentic to me now, but obviously over the years I've developed, like, I've figured out what women are attracted to and what works and what doesn't. You know.
Hmm. What
Mm.
do you think works? What would be your one thing that works and what doesn't?
On a date or what?
Uh, about women, you said you figured out what works and what
Okay,
doesn't. Well, it
so,
doesn't
well, I
matter.
mean,
Just one random fact about that and that.
well, one of the things that I've definitely, like, the common denominator that I've discovered, like, from dating chicks, is that in general, when a chick is like opening up and talking about herself a lot on the date, that's a very obvious sign that she likes you. It sounds
Hmm.
strange because you would think the other opposite. You would think, wow, she's not asking me questions about myself, she mustn't like me. No, but it's
Right.
not true. If she's asking a lot of questions about you, she's trying to figure out why she's trying to pick out flaws in you. So
Hmm.
the interesting thing that I've seen it time and time again, and it's like, when a chick likes me, and a lot of the chicks that I end up smashing, like, they tend to just like start telling me about their family, about their hobbies, about all this, that, and I just kind of, throw out. I'm not like interviewing them, but I'm just like, they tell me something and I'd ask about it, and then I
Hmm.
tell them something about, that I can relate to that. So, but they're generally just talking about themselves. I'm giving very little about. They don't really. I'm not really saying anything about myself, although I'm throwing
Right.
in little bits here and there. But then on the other hand, when a chick is like really like interviewing me, they're the kind of chicks that like I end up a lot of the time those kind of chicks don't end up not liking me. They're the chicks that don't like me. The
Yeah,
chicks that
I get that too, right? No,
hot.
I know what you're
So
talking
what do
about.
you do? What do you study? They're just asking question after question, trying to pick at me. And it's interesting because a lot of guys don't realize that it's a very obvious and simple fact. I'll tell the guys, like, when you're on a date and a girl's telling you about herself and talking and talking, she likes you. She likes you. Girls that don't like you don't talk like that. They don't talk about themselves. So that's one of the that's a thing that a lot of guys don't realize. They don't realize that very simple fact. Like, if
Hmm.
it's a very obvious sign that a girl likes you when she's talking a lot. Because girls are very solipsistic, they enjoy talking about themselves. And if they don't like you, if they're not comfortable with you, they won't want to talk about themselves. Like, they'll just kind of be more, oh, what are you about? Like, what do you do? Like, what's your job? And they'll ask all these boring fucking questions about your job and about your life, and you know, uh, it suits me down to the ground because I don't really want to have to talk about myself to these
Right.
girls. I'd rather just, like, let them fucking tell me about their family, tell me about their hobbies, tell me about their girlfriends or whatever, and I'll throw in this, that, and the other in between. But you'd have similar experiences.
Yeah, no, I agree. Yeah, when they ask, mostly they talk about their job. They ask you interviewing questions. Those ones really never went anywhere. I
Right.
really try not to answer those seriously. but
Right.
I always find that the fun ones are when the girl is interacting, talking, like you said, talking more about herself, but yet when we're kind of like stirring away from the interview questions and just having other engaging conversation.
Another thing I would tell guys is to not give up information too easy about themselves. 'Cause the worst thing you can do to kill an attraction, uh, a girl's attraction to you, is remove all the mystery. Like,
Hmm.
make her work for it. Don't tell her things. Don't be, you know, just try and skip around the questions. Like, try and, like, make jokes out of things. Don't give away too much about yourself. I would say, like, on the first date, if you're just trying to smash, if you're really just trying to, like, get laid, like, don't, like, give away everything, because a girl's imagination is like, she just has that's where a lot of attraction comes from, like her imagination about you.
Hmm.
I
Right.
have,
No,
I
that's true.
remember, like, I remember years ago, like, I remember so long ago, it's like 8 years ago or something. I remember a girl, I remember talking about myself, and I was answering all the girls' questions. And I
Hmm.
remember it very clearly. I remember she said, "Well, I know everything about you now." Nah, kind of. And she said something like, I can't remember exactly what she said, but it was like, "Oh, I've, she based something along the lines of, I've lost attraction, or I know everything about you," and it always stuck with me. And then I've
Hmm.
I've always heard that, I've always remembered that. And then I've heard it come up in, on other guys discussing it in the red pill, and it's very true. Like, if they know too much about you, and then you remove all the mystery, and they kind of lose, like, the little spark for you. Like,
Always good to have that mystery. No, it's cool. I don't like to really give away too much, all at once. But no, that
mm,
that is good.
yeah, I mean, and obviously, if you want to date them, and you can tell them, open up to them slowly, like, after dick them down good and all that stuff, and then you can talk to them then, and they'll figure out eventually what you're about. But I would say, like, on the first date, like, don't, like, just spill. Don't be that guy that's just spilling out to a girl, like, telling her all shit about your life. Like, even if you have a very interesting life, like, very uh, really interesting stories, girls are solipsistic. They're narcissistic. They literally don't care. They don't
Hmm.
really care that much about your interesting travel stories, or you can throw in a little bit, but I would say like the girl honestly should be talking like 80% of the time. That might seem crazy, but I'm serious. Like I think like if the girl is talking 80% of the time on the date, that's a good ratio. No,
Mm-hmm.
seriously, like I mean that. Like those are the kind of girls I like dick down. Like the girls that are talking, tell me about their their whatever. Um, and yeah, I could end up taking them home and dicking them down.
Mm-hmm.
Time. Um, yeah, so I would just say like yeah, I mean that's kind of I expanded on that topic, but
Yeah,
you
that
know,
no, that was very good. Yeah, and it's weird because it kind of you reminded me of some of my experiences I've had too, and I'd have to agree with you based off what you told me.
mm, yeah, it's just I've heard it, time and time again where even I've even heard it from girls. Girls kind of like it's funny because they'll enjoy talking about themselves and they'll talk about themselves from morning till night. But like if a
Mm-hmm.
guy talks about himself like a lot, if it's 80% of the guy talking, 20% the girl, then more more the yeah more often than not she's gonna think you're like a dickhead. That's
Mm-hmm.
just like she's just gonna think you're like a bit of and it's funny because it's like she'll say, "Oh, he's full of himself. He's like this, that, and the other." But you flip the script, she'll be happy to talk about herself. It's just like
Right.
men and
No, I
women are not
agree.
equal. We're not the same. We're not the same. So it's almost feminine. It's almost feminine for a guy to be the one talking a lot on a date. You know.
Mm-hmm.
It's almost like because girls, women speak a lot more than men. When women to get together, like women on average speak, on your average day, women speak a lot more than men.
Mm-hmm.
There's no studies on it, and where women like actually do speak more than men. They vote, use a lot more words um, per day
That's interesting. I did
on
not know
average.
that.
Um, Yeah, man. Have you ever like heard like have you ever been around chicks when they're talking? They just like it's just like nonsensical, just like they just keep talking like it's like a group of girls. They're just the
No,
speed at which
I know what you're talking about.
yeah. And it's weird how they'll jump from topic to topic and it's like they're not even listening. It's if you get around a bunch of girls that are talking, it's interesting because it's like it's almost like they're not listening to each other. It's weird because it's like they'll just it's like they're all talking and they're just talking about themselves to each other. One girl
Mm-hmm.
will say something and she'll talk about herself. Then the other girl will like, start talking about something completely different and they'll be like, "Oh, it's just weird, man. It's just a
Mm-hmm.
different, you know?
Yeah, guys are different than girls. That's just how it is.
Definitely, man. But yeah, man. Moral of today's show is not, the less the less neediness, the better.
Yep, the
Um,
less tedious, the better, and you guys better remember that. Remember, guys, just learn to become more self-sufficient. Go after women like it's okay to do it, but don't overdo it because if you overdo it and you be needy, like it's really going to screw you over and it's going to show that So you guys just keep at it, and you're going to have experiences where that might happen, and you just got to learn from your experiences because that's what I've done too, and you know what not to do next time, and you know what to do next time.
hmm. Become self-sufficient. Learn to survive in the
Like
wild.
that.
Yeah, become completely self-sufficient, and then yeah. But yeah, man, it's good to have you on. It's cool
Yeah,
when we.
nice to talk to you again, man. Thanks for having me on the channel, man. And I'll have to invite you on my channel. Let's plan for sometime next month. I've just been, busy this month, but we've been putting this off. But definitely like to have you come on my channel.
Yeah, man. Yeah, so you go over to Command Your Confidence YouTube channel. I'll put the link in the description.
There you go.
Uh,
Command your confidence.
follow.
Yeah, check it out, guys.
So yeah, guys, today is Tuesday or well Monday, 9 p.m. Eastern
Well,
Standard
it's
Time.
Monday my time here. Monday
Uh,
it's 8 here, and it's
mm,
they just had daylight savings time, so it's 9, 10, 11 o'clock over there. Eastern time.
Yeah. So
Rock and roll.
I'll be back maybe tomorrow night or on Wednesday 6 a.m. Eastern Standard Time or Thursday 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. So like, comment, subscribe. Help me out. The algorithm hates this kind of content. So support the channel. Check out the links in the description. If you're interested in mindset, I also have some free mindset tutorials. You can download them for free. So go into the description and click on it, and that will help out your day game mindset.
Rock on. Check that
Awesome.
out, guys.
So peace out, guys. Have a good one. Bye bye.
Good show, man.